All right, welcome back, everybody. We are going to get started again with another Badab War painting scheme challenge here. Again, apologies for these not being in the old classic, Marine poses with the old Mark 7 armor and all that. I just don't have any of those models. But I do think that it's kind of cool that we are sort of taking these old designs and primarisizing them, I guess you could say. Just making them look a little bit more sort of up to date and stuff like that. And some of these chapters do have Primaris versions. They are still around in the 41st millennium, so it's not like it's a complete, just absolute farce. But with that being said, today we are going to be moving into the Nova Marines, which is why you can see he's got a really sort of chunky bit of masking tape on him, and we're going to be painting him in that classic bisected style. So this half of him is going to remain white over here, and this half is going to end up being blue, all sort of Ultramarines blue. We're going to go with a little bit of Macragge blue through an airbrush to help keep things nice and smooth. And he will make number 6 out of the Badab War Space Marines. Let's go ahead and just sort of get that on there. All right, so let's go ahead and take this off, and oh yeah, very nice. It's pretty crazy how effective this masking tape really can be. And it's not going to be perfect, especially this masking tape, which this is just something I had, lying around. It's not going to be a perfect, bisection, I guess you could say. There's going to be some paint that gets through, but my goodness, for the most part, that saves me a ton of work. There's going to be a couple bits here and there I'm going to have to go and, fill in and fix myself, but overall, it's looking really good. So I'll clean it up, get those touch-ups done, and then we'll get started on all the other small details. All right, and I have touched up those edges, and now everything is looking a little bit better, a little bit smoother. And now it is time to go ahead and get out the black paint, and we're going to get into those recesses. All right, so we've got a couple more details painted in there. We've got that black Templar contrast paint. We're going to go in with another layer on the bolt gun itself. And we just went ahead and did the gold details as well. Again, gonna need to clean up a little bit, just in and around there. But so far, looking pretty good. I think next step, while we're waiting on all of that black Templar to dry before we put in our next layer of it, is gonna be to get the silver out and do some gunmetal painting, sort of on and around the barrels and the scope and some of these pipings. And just little different parts like on the backpack and stuff. So we'll get those painted in, and then we'll show you where we're at. So as for the Marines Errant, they are a sort of a sub-chapter of the Ultramarines. Today they are a fleet-based chapter, meaning that they don't really have a home world. They just kind of roam around on ships and go where they're needed. But like with most Ultramarines chapters, they're going to follow the Codex Astartes, and they were going to be one of the loyalist responders to the Badab Wars. So kind of like we've seen before with many of the other Space Marine chapters that were sort of fighting in and around that time. The loyalists definitely outnumbered the traitors, or I guess those on the side of Lufthoran. So they were kind of fighting a losing battle, despite winning some major victories at the start. But that's kind of how it ends up going in a lot of situations, I guess. All right, so we have our second coats on everything. We've got a nice leather pouch going down there. We've got pretty much all the details cleaned up to the point now where I am ready for the wash. All right, let's go ahead and get started on that freehand while we're waiting for everything else to dry. Like I said earlier, I'm going to do my best to try to keep as much of this in on camera for you guys, but I just don't know exactly how that's going to work out. The comet that's sort of coming in, and maybe the tail of it's going to end right there. And we'll say it's got a big loop that comes around here like so, with sort of fire effects coming off of it. And then we've got another little loop that's coming out here like so, and then one like last little bit that kind of comes, And so that might come out like this and like this. That last little bit's not super perfectly even. All right, so now to fill it all in. So let's kind of do something like this, make it kind of look like, you know, a stream of fire or something. Yeah, perfect, or maybe not so perfect. And then that last little bit right in there. Okay, I mean, that doesn't actually look that terrible. It looks like the star is sort of gonna be like right here in the middle, and it's literally just gonna be like a plus sign. Yeah, like that. And then kind of like little bits that pop out in the corners. Nice. Let's get that a little bit up there. I mean, hey, it really doesn't actually look that bad. I really am pretty happy with that. Make this middle section a little bigger here, but honestly, that turned out pretty good. I really like that Thunderhawk blue looking paint on black, so this is pretty much exactly that. Nice. We'll just spin it around and get some on this side here. Just enough, nothing crazy. All right, and just like that, got some good edge highlights going on. I think it's time for the base, and then we're gonna be pretty close to done. I'm just gonna slap some gray paint on the base. We're gonna hit it with a wash, and then we're gonna get that base rim painted up, and I think we'll be out of here. All right, we have made it to the final steps here. We've got a black paint rim coming in. As you can see, we sort of added some details on the base, a couple little dry brushed gold areas there. Got some silver. It's kind of monotone, but once that dries, it's going to look a lot nicer. It's got a coat of oil wash over the top of it, and that's kind of my like cheat method to just finish a base really quickly, is to just throw some oil wash over the top of it, and it just really gets into those recesses, and it leaves a lot of sort of big details there blocked in and colored, which is nice. If your models look like, you know, absolute garbage, I don't necessarily know if I want to play against you. Having even just painted models is so important. Now, if you've tried and your best is like not that great, but it still is like showing effort, then hey, I don't care. But if you just like threw models together and haven't even painted them, or you prime them in one color and you leave them that for months and months, it's kind of annoying that, you know, I put in a lot more effort in my armies and you kind of haven't. And it makes those times that you lose even more frustrating, because it's like, you know, I put in all this time and effort to have a cool looking game with a cool narrative, and you seem to have not. But it appears that this Marines Errant is mostly done. I really like how that shoulder pad turned out, like a lot. Some art shows that the trim is gold, and others show that the trim just stays the same. So I'm kind of lazy. I'm just going to keep it the same. We went back in there and got the eyes a little bit darker red. Made that look good. We touched up some details. Again, a little bit of airbrush work goes a long way here. And I think this turned out really cool. So once it all dries, I will finish it all up with some cool pictures here at the end. You're probably seeing them right now. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'm excited to get back into it. If you guys have any suggestions for what direction I should go with which and which Marine chapter, make sure that you let me know, and I will absolutely take that into consideration and probably do that one next. I like to let you guys have a little bit more of that choice in these sorts of things. So again, hopefully you enjoyed and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.